welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shailene and today I have an itch and it must be scratched. So today I'm coming back with my series, You Don't Need Shein, You Just Need a Sewing Machine. And today I will be turning this thrifted piece of fabric into this. Some of you might recognize this shirt I'm wearing, and that's because this was episode 1 of this series. And actually today I'm wearing an entire fit of clothing I made. I made these shorts in the last episode. I made this shirt in the first episode. Can we just say nothing feels better than wearing your own clothing? Like, I feel so confident right now. So I want to keep these good vibes going, and I have this idea for a top I want to make. I'll insert some photos here of what I'm thinking. I thrifted this pink gingham tablecloth, I think that's what it is, from the thrift store a while ago for a couple bucks. Immediately when I saw the print, I knew I had to turn it into a cute summer top, but it just hasn't been summer yet for me to want to make the top, so the time is now. I'm making it now. The fabric is a little stretchy, but not much, so I think I'm gonna have to do a similar smocked back as I did in this video. I want it to be like a peplum top with a skinny strap, and I'm thinking I want the straps to be ties, but I also do like the bows in those photos. I don't know, we'll just see. I'm gonna start with the top and then I'll address the sleeves later. I did wash and dry the fabric ahead of time to pre-shrink it, so that way I know it's good to go and it's not going to shrink on me after the first wash. I'm super excited to get started, so without further ado, let's go. So this is what I'm thinking. I drew it all out, and now what I want to do is just start measuring myself, so that way I know exactly how much fabric I need for a certain area, so that way I can cut it properly. From my bust to the side, 26.5. I want the shirt to start down here, 10 inches. Here to the side, getting 20.5. And then from here, right below the bust, I wanted to start having like a peplum to go out, 9 inches. And I want it to kind of flare out, so it's not just going to be flat to my body. I'll measure my waist right here, 48, and I want to get my bust here, 38 all the way around. This might get a little confusing, so just stick with me here. I have all the measurements here that I actually am. This doesn't really include seam allowance, so what I've done is basically drew out exactly which pieces I needed, and then I might have to, you know, make some darts here and there or whatever, but for starters, this is what I have. So the front piece, which is basically going to be like right here, I have that at 28.5 by 11, which includes seam allowance. Then for the back, I have 36 inches because I'm going to be shearing that or smocking that, so I have it larger so that way it can shrink back up and I can stretch it over my head. I have that at 36 by 10. For the bottom peplum part, I needed to multiply that to make it, you know, go out a little bit, so I have the 10 inches by 60, and I thought I could do that in 2 pieces of fabric because my fabric is 37 inches by 47 inches, but basically I then drew it out, which this looks a little confusing, but I have my fabric here, 47 by 37, and unfortunately I'm working with 2 stains right in the middle of the fabric, so I drew out exactly where those are so I can avoid those. I have the one bottom piece here, which is 10 by 30, so that's half of this. I've got one of these good. I can't do another one to keep the pattern the same, so I've divided one of these by 2, and I will have, it'll just be like in the middle in the back. I think that's fine. I'll get it to pair up. Back over here I have one that's 10 by 15, another that's 10 by 15, so that's all together that's 30 plus the 30, so this is the bottom peplum part. Then for the back piece that needs shearing, again I'm trying to avoid this stain, so I'm doing 10 by 18 and 10 by 18 to total the 36 that's over here. And then for the front piece, I am able just to cut it all the way out to do 28 by 11. In all of this, the leftover fabric is how I will make the straps, but for now I'm just going to start by cutting these out. The nice thing about this fabric is it's gridded, so it's actually going to be pretty easy to cut, which is nice. So I'm just going to do it exactly as my drawing has, so that way I can follow it to a T. And what I'm going to do is just take a water-soluble marker and just mark out exactly where to cut it, so that way I am making my cuts as precise as possible. I'm just going to label that and put that off to the side. This is how much fabric we have left to worry about sleeves. Here are our 6 pieces that we are going to start sewing together. The fabric on the front and the back is not actually the same. This is the pattern I like better. This is what I'm going to be using. You can see it's just slightly different. Honestly, I don't know how much more I can get done today. I do have a couple more things I need to get done today. That doesn't include sewing. So I think I'm going to call it a stopping point for now. Maybe I'll pick this back up again later today. I'm back. I had grocery shopping and I needed to get my passport photo taken. Basically, I think how I want to start this off. In the back, I need to have like a smocked effect, or shirring is what it's called. So that way I can squeeze it over my head. Otherwise it's just not gonna fit. It's not a stretchy fabric. So if you remember, if you saw my video where I made this top, I'll link a card above if you wanna watch it. But I tried this smocking effect for the first time using elastic thread. So here on the underside, you can see the elastic, but what it's done it's allowed the fabric to now stretch. This is also not a stretchy fabric. This was an old duvet cover, and in order for it to fit, I had to create this shearing effect on the back. Initially, my thoughts are that I want to do the same thing for this. Now, this is a little bit of a thicker fabric, so I'm hoping that it turns out okay, but I think I want to start there just because I need to know if it's going to work or not, because if it's not going to work, then I really have to pivot before I get too far into it. I got this elastic thread, and it came with so much. I have so much elastic thread, so I'm just going to use this same technique in order to sew the elastic thread to the piece. This has to go in the bobbin, and then you use like regular thread on the top. So in the bobbin, there's the elastic thread, and in the top, there's regular thread. You cannot thread the bobbin using your sewing machine. You have to hand sew it because you don't want it to overly stretch. Here is my bobbin with the elastic thread, and I'm just going to put this in the machine like normal. Just taking a scrap piece of fabric to test this out just to make sure that the machine is working okay before I start feeding in my actual fabric. That worked. Scratch that. Before I do anything, I need to attach the two back pieces together. I have two pieces for the back, so I just need to make this one piece. Unfortunately, I made it a little off, but I don't think it's too bad. So now I have one back piece. Honestly, before I do that, I am just gonna hem it. I'm just gonna go through and fold it over twice to hem. I'm doing a really, really small fold over. So you can see I'm just doing a tiny little fold over and then another fold over, and then pinching that together so that way I have a tiny little hem. So it's not taking up much of the fabric, but it is just creating that finished edge. Now there is a finished hem right along the edge there. Actually gone and hemmed all four sides just because honestly this fabric is fraying pretty easily, and I don't have a serger and I don't know how to do a zigzag stitch across, so I thought I would just finish the edges to reduce fraying. And now we smock. This is how it's looking so far, and this is the back. Also, I forgot to mention, but I'm just doing a straight stitch with the stitch length being 4. The higher the stitch length, the more fabric will be gathered, basically. And then for spacing, I'm basically just using my presser foot as a guide. So I'll have the end of my presser foot follow this last line I did here. Okay, so this is what we're working with. Honestly, it's like so satisfying, all of those crinkles. I've done it almost all the way to the bottom. I've left this much. Basically, if this is for the back, so if I were to take this to the back, I honestly already feel like it's a little too long. I'm just gonna leave this bottom part here, and when I go to sew on the bottom portion of this, what I'll be doing is connecting the right sides together, creating a new hem, and then I'll just be trimming off whatever's left. Yeah, it's turning out really, really, really cute, and honestly, this shearing experience is way better than the last one. Like, even that would be a cute top. Should I pivot? Next on the agenda, I want to attach the front piece so that way I can kind of put it over my head and see if it's gonna work before I continue. I'm gonna start by hemming. One side is already finished, so I'm just hem. Actually, two sides are finished. Love that. I'm honestly gonna leave this side unfinished just because I honestly think this is too much fabric now that I see the back piece. So here is my dilemma. I've attached the front and the back piece together, which is perfect. Basically, we want the side seam right here on the side. And then if I were to wrap this around, first of all, this is way too long, which is fine. I thought it would be. So I'll probably trim it like right here. When wrapping the shirt around, the smock is also way too long. Everything I read is like, oh, the fabric is gonna go down to like half the size, and it's like that is not the case for me, so I think I always overdo it. But ideally I would have the line right here. I'm gonna mark how much extra I don't need. If I fold that in, then that would be the new width. Now if I take my fabric here, kind of stretch it, I've marked it with blue pen where they overlap. I want to make sure this doesn't unravel, so what I'm going to do is sew a straight stitch all the way down so that way it holds it in place, and then I will hem it it again and like fold it in, but I just want to make sure that elastic doesn't come undone. Before I start cutting any fabric, I lined up the 2 pieces of fabric here and I sewed all the way down to create a new seam. Honestly, I think it's still a bit too loose. Like this, I feel like I just want it tighter to my body. So I'm going to tighten it a little bit more. This is the top now. I feel like this is way better. There's still all the extra fabric in here, so I have to cut it, but the seam goes right to my side here. So does the one right here. I feel like this is looking so much better. So I think I'm going to cut the fabric. All the fabric is cut on the inside. Now I think I'm going to call it a night. It has been a long day. I'm ready for bed, but I feel like I'm at a good stopping point now. All right, you guys, I'm feeling really good about our progress so far. I think what I want to focus on next is really making sure that this top portion is how I want it to be. Here it is on. I want to make sure that it's tight up here. I've just kind of pinched right where I think it would be good and it would fit me right. Let's just count how many squares that is. So if I go 4 squares on either side to create a dart, this is the tightness. I think that's a lot better. So I'm just going to remember where it was, but basically create a dart. I'll be making like a triangle. I'll show you what I mean. I drew kind of like a triangle where it was too much fabric, and I just drew that a little bit of the ways down where I thought it would be good. So I basically created a new seam now where that dart is. I'm not going to cut off any of the fabric until I know it fits, but I plan on doing that to both sides. This is what it looks like with both those darts. So you can see it kind of like curves with the checkered pattern, but now I just feel like it stretches better and it fits my body better. Next step is figuring out how to attach the peplum bottom to it. The fabric that I currently have is too long. I think I need to start working on the peplum part. I think I'm going to do a similar technique that I did in my tiered skirt video, where I basically use like basting stitches to gather the fabric and make it ruffled to then flare out. That's my initial plan anyway, so I think I'm going to start there before I start doing anything to the rest of this. Like, this is good for now. And now I have the 3 bottom pieces and I need to attach these, hem the edges. Now I have one really long piece of fabric. Honestly, it's not perfect. I plan on having this bigger spot right here in the front where what really matters, because the back of my head is none of my business. I'll just try to line it up so it's like in the middle of my back. I feel like that's the best I can do. All along the top here is hemmed, but I'm not sure I'm going to be keeping this length, so I haven't hemmed all around the bottom yet. My plan is to have it tight enough under the bust to basically act as a support. I'm gonna like bunch it up enough where it's like it'll be tight right here. I'm gonna start doing a basting stitch, which is basically a straight stitch that is like the longest it can be on your machine. Mine is a length of 5, and I'm just gonna be sewing all the way down, and then I'll be able to like pull this string and it'll like tighten the fabric. But I'm not gonna like back stitch it or anything. I'm literally just gonna leave some tails so that way I can pull it through. I just did the basting stitch, and now you can see as I pull along the tail end here, it's creating like a ripple effect. Create like an even gather all the way across. So I want the width of that to be 38. I need this front piece to be 19. This back part is at 19, so we're good. So I'm gonna just start pinning this in place. All the gathers are pinned in place. I've sewed it together. Honestly, I don't know how well it worked. I still have the basting stitch in there, which I know I need to remove. It's curlier or rufflier in the back, and then in the front it's flatter. I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know why that didn't really work. Like, this is like locked into place, but it's like this stretch right here that doesn't have any gathers in it. I think I'm just gonna start thinking about attaching this. I mean, it's good because if I were to wrap it around, now it is like kind of right underneath the bust. I'm gonna make it like one big circle. I just need to figure out how to attach this. I'm gonna see where I should sew this. I want it to be not all the way down here. I want it to be right below the bust. How do I do this? I'm getting confused. Okay, so the bottom will be right side up. The top will be inside out. Okay, I actually just went ahead and cut off the bottom part here. I do just need to like go around and hem it now. You guys, I'm freaking out. It's becoming a shirt. So this is the front. Like, I have not connected this back piece here yet. Right now the back is just this, and I do need to keep it going. I just need to figure out how, but oh my gosh, this is adorable. I did end up cutting some off the bottom there, and I just hemmed it with a zigzag stitch just because it was a little too long. So now that it's hemmed and ready to go, I wanted to make sure it stayed stretchy, but I'm gonna go ahead and attach this now to the rest of the shirt. So a couple thing. I still wish this was a little tighter right here, and I'm really not sure how to achieve that. Also, the length is too long, and I knew it was going to be, that's why I left it unfinished. But I kind of want to figure out this situation first. Like, it needs to be almost a little tighter, maybe like lower dart to this is what it looks like now after I added a couple more darts over here. It is just like a little more supportive. I had to squeeze into it just a little more instead of it just hanging off my body. Now I'm going to cut off the bottom here just enough so that way it kind of flares out a little bit more. It is all trimmed. I've hemmed the bottom. It is all finished. There are about 1,000,001 strings that I need to cut, but I think the top is done. I think it's done. Here's the back. I am obsessed with it. I think it is so cute. The only thing now, I need to add the straps basically. It is turning out exactly like I had in my head. Like, we are finishing this today and I am so excited. The whole time when I bought this, I had plans to basically like make it a strap where strap coming off here, strap coming off the back, and then you tie it at the top. I really wasn't sure how that was gonna work, but now that I know the top like stays on and it's not gonna literally fall off my body, I feel comfortable just kind of having that as like a decorative element. And truthfully, I think I have enough fabric to do it. I've never made straps before, so this is gonna be a first for me as well. First things first, I need to measure all of this out and just see exactly how much I have, because I obviously want those straps to be even. I have this loop turner. I think what I just need to do is fold it over halfway, sew it on, and then I can like reverse that. That honestly got a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Who knew that the straps were gonna be the hardest part of the shirt? I have a couple that like went really well. So I got one strap here that was like, it was like flawless. Another strap here that it worked pretty decently. But then I have two here. So the very first one I did, oh my gosh, you guys, it was crazy. First of all, I didn't listen to my own words and I did not sew it right sides together. When it was all said and done, there was like seams everywhere. There was like strings everywhere. I pulled it inside out and it was like a hot disaster. I was like, whoa, that's not gonna work. So then I had to unloop it back out. In doing so, it like ripped the fabric and I didn't attach it beforehand. So now I'm left with one strap that is like so janky, it's insane. I'm just thinking, okay, thinking out loud here. If it was like this isn't so bad. And then this like janky part right here is gonna be the tie. So it's like, will anybody know? I don't think so. But this one got crazy. And this one was almost good until when I pulled it out. So I've kind of had to like straight stitch all the way over it so it doesn't come unattached. Yeah, it was a little humbling, to be honest. I had never used a loop turner before. I've never even made straps before, none of it. Now I know what I'm getting myself into. And honestly, like this fabric is not thick, but it's more stiff. So like pulling it through the loop turner, I think that was an issue, because then I practiced this kind of fabric, like super stretchy, and it was super easy. So I think there's something to be said about the type of fabric I'm using. I do want to iron these so they're laid flat, but now I'm basically going to just figure out where each one's going to go. I'm going to do that off camera so that way when I come back, you guys get a little reveal. Guys, the top is finished and I cannot wait to show you how good it looks. I like tried to also style it so it'd be like a finished outfit. Are you ready? Reveal in 3, 2, 1. Are you joking? Got two straps here. They're different colors, but honestly, I think that's kind of cute. I put the better straps in the front just to make the front a lot more cohesive. But honestly, even the back straps are not too bad. I tried to put like the really bad parts of the strap in the tie so that way like you would never notice. Finished the straps up. I ended up ironing them out so they were less like noodle-like and that they were laying flat. I pinned exactly where I wanted the straps to go once I had the shirt on so that way I knew exactly where to sew the straps. And then I just sewed those on all along the inside with like multiple straight stitches kind of in an X and a square. And I just paired it with like a white skirt, white earrings, white necklace, and then I'm a child and put butterfly hair clips in my hair, but I think it's cute. I feel like I'm going to a picnic and I love that. I'm gonna put my inspo photos here again just to show you the comparison. Like guys, this is exactly what I had in my head when I purchased this. I literally executed it to my dreams. I'm so in love with this, you guys. Like, I made this. For my next upcycle or thrift flip, I have an idea and I'm thinking gingham romper from a thrifted bedsheet. So if you want to see that or you just want to stick around because you like seeing my face, hit the subscribe button. I plan on posting many, many more of these. I love sewing. I also want to dress trendy and I think it's so exciting being able to like learn how to make clothes yourself. Stay tuned for the next video. And if nothing else, I just hope this video encourages you to stay creative, stay inspired, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. I got some big hair today. I think, I'm getting confused. Okay, I can't remember how I did this. Oh my gosh, Molly, I'm so sorry. I stepped on our tail. I'm beginner sewer Barbie.